Hello, BookTube. Well, there's mail today, but it's weak and thready mail. It's distinctly lacking in vitamin B. The packages are skinny. And what good ever came from a skinny book package? I ask you. So it's just a few, and we're going to find out what we're building. Clearly, building strength back up. This is not normal at all. A tiny little package one day, skinny little packages the next day. I want doorstops. But let's see what we. Oh God. Okay. Well, the first one is a slim volume of poetry by James Longenbach. Comes out in November, and this is the finished copy. I mean, it's kind of pretty. It's Earthling with a starling on the cover. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. I'm trying to remember the last time a skinny book package had anything in it that made me go over the moon. I can't remember the last time it wasn't. Okay, this is the finished copy of a novel that comes out in early September by Sabatin Ali called Madonna in a Fur Coat. I think we saw this on this channel before. I wish I could show you. It's a really nice finished copy. It's got the French flaps and an embossed cover. It's a really nice production. But what is this? From Ali, the father of modern Turkish literature, comes the rediscovered classic Madonna in a Fur Coat, expertly translated and brought to U.S. readers for the first time. I don't think we have seen this on this channel before. It was originally published in 1943. This deceptively simple romance by one of Turkey's best-loved writers has already garnered comparisons to Turgenev's First Love and Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. The novel has enjoyed an unexpected revival in Ali's native country, as well as abroad, with rights sold to 17 territories including Russia, France, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Mongolia, and Germany. It's won the hearts of Turkish youth, topping Nobel laureate Orhun Pamuk on bestseller lists since 2013 and selling nearly 1 million copies. Good Lord. In the present day, Turkey's free press has withered, and Turkey now has outstripped China as the world's biggest jailer of journalists, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists. Against this political backdrop, the author jailed for his political writings, much like his contemporaries under today's government, has posthumously become a resistance icon for today's Turkish youth. This just gets more and more interesting. So this is the story of Rafe, a shy young Turkish man who falls in love with Maria, a fiery half-Jewish painter. And it has a blurb from The National. I imagine there's more than one in the world, but that's me. That's one publication called The National is me. Interesting. Okay, so he was born in 1907 in the Ottoman town that is now Ardino in southern Bulgaria. He was a teacher, a journalist, and a poet, and he owned and edited the popular satirical newspaper Marco Pasha. Frequent target of government censorship. He was twice imprisoned for his writings and was killed on the Bulgarian border in 1948 as he attempted to flee Turkey. Ooh. Okay, well, naturally, you know what I'm going to say. Being me, all of this makes me want to read a 1,000-page biography of him, not his 150-page novella. But I will. I had the advanced copy of this, and I never got to it. So that's, I guess, a taste of what can come in small packages. Let's move on to the next one. That sounded fascinating. All right, what's next here? Oh God. Oh God. Okay, it's another slim volume of poetry. This is A Scattering and Anniversary by Christopher Reid in a hardcover. Christopher Reid is the author of many books of poems. From 1991 to 1999, he was the poetry editor at Faber and Faber, where he worked with Ted Hughes on such books as Tales from Ovid and Birthday Letters. He's now a freelance writer and lives in London. This is a collection of poems by him. I have just never, contemporary poetry almost never does it for me. I read it religiously because I think, like a lot of of readers, I feel like I'm somehow truant if I don't read contemporary poetry. And yet, contemporary poetry, when I read it, gives me almost no reason to do so. Every once in a while, there'll be an exception. The Voyage of the Sable Venus, for instance, was, I thought, fantastic. If I remember, I'll leave my review down below. The House of Lords and Commons by Ishii Hutchinson, I thought that was fantastic. Every once in a while, I'll come across a volume like that, and I don't know what it is. I'm no expert in reading contemporary poetry, so the fault is probably mine. But I'll give these two a try, Earthling and A Scattering and Anniversary, but I don't expect to even understand what I read, much less say, boy, that was good enough to recommend to somebody else. But anyway, let's move on to the last one here. Okay. All right. Well, this is closer to a Steve book. This comes out in January, and this is Frankenstein: How a Monster Became an Icon, which is great because I've read the book 80 million times. This is edited, so this is a collection of essays about Frankenstein. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. So what have we got here? The tale of a tormented creature created in a laboratory began on a rainy night in 1816 in the imagination of 19-year-old Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, newly married to the celebrated romantic poet Percy Shelley. Since its publication 2 years later in 1818, Frankenstein has spread around the globe through every possible medium and variation. Okay, that description has a couple of factual problems. I don't know if that's going to be what the book is like. Frankenstein has not been out of print since once in 200 years. It has appeared in hundreds of editions, perhaps more than any other novel. No, Seymour, calm yourself. No. I like your zeal, but it's not even in the top 5. So it has inspired a multitude of stage and screen adaptations, all of them bad. Isn't it incredible that no one has ever adapted Frankenstein well? That just amazes me. It still does. The latest, appearing just last year, Frankenstein has become an indelible part of popular culture and is shorthand for anything bizarre and human-made, as well as a beloved Hollywood favorite. Yet for all its long history, Frankenstein's central premise that science, not magic or God, can create a living being, and thus these creators must answer for their actions as humans, not gods, is most relevant today as science approaches creating synthetic life. Okay, all right, so it's a collection of essays about Frankenstein. Okay, so we have Frankenstein, How a Monster Became an Icon. We have A Scattering and Anniversary and Earthling, 2 slim volumes of poetry. And we have Madonna in a Fur Coat in its first English language translation. That, together, is about as big as one of the books that I like to get in the mail. So we've got these tiny, slim little things, but it's better than nothing. I can attest to that. And I'll you can let me know in the comments field what you think interests you, and I'll be back with more, I hope, later. Thank you, BookTube.